computer. Hi, everyone. Welcome to the Golden Hour. I'm so happy to see you all. Today is August 18th, and I'm so happy to be talking about Google My Business, which is a very important topic, right? I like to say it's the yellow pages for the current state of where we are on the internet. And so I'd like to introduce Ralph, my amazing teammate, who's an expert in all things search engine optimization and Google My Business, and he is going to take it from here. And if you need to log out, that's fine. Just put yourself on mute and take it away, Ralph.
Yeah, thank you. Hello, everybody. Thanks for joining. Today, we're going to be going over Google My Business, like Lainey had mentioned. Google My Business appears in search engine result pages. It's crucial for any business. Honestly, I haven't come across a business that can't utilize a Google My Business profile. We're going to get into some examples. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. We're going to be taking questions, but we're going to start with the basics and the fundamentals. What is Google My Business? So simply put, it's a listing that appears in both Google Maps, in local search results, and there's quite a bit of competition when it comes to Google My Business listings, because if you've ever done a Google search, you'll see a local map pack. In the past, it's been called a 3-pack, but that's typically for local businesses, and local businesses by far are the #1 business that could capitalize by a Google My Business profile. There's many factors that go into which businesses are shown in which spots and where, based on number of reviews. So it's a review platform, citation accuracy, internet profiles. There's so much that goes into a Google My Business profile. And we'll get into how you can go about starting one, or if you have one already, managing it, and things you could take it to the next level. There's so many SEO benefits, marketing benefits, and just taking your business to the next level. So if you don't currently utilize a Google My Business profile, hopefully tomorrow you look into, or later today, you look into getting one set up and verifying it. It's not hard at all. So this is something you could do if you just recently started a business, or you identify your business currently does not utilize a Google My Business profile. So the goal is to get your Google My Business profile to show up for a plethora of keywords, industry categories, and specifically in the top 3 spot. So I'm going to take a moment to kind of walk everybody through a Google search right now and show you guys where Google My Business profiles actually exist, what they are, and how they differentiate from other listings. Is everybody able to see my screen okay?
Yeah.
Awesome. So I'm using DoorDash headquarters as an example. This one actually came back with a lot of actual listings, so this is good for example purposes. Typically in the first spot of Google, you'll have a lot of ads. It's annotated by a bolded ad. Sometimes it says sponsored. Google has split tested this over time, but we're not going to dive into ads. I'm going to scroll down. This is what's called a featured snippet, so it gives more information based on the search intent. Obviously, when you type in DoorDash headquarters, the intent is where are their headquarters located, information about DoorDash specifically. Some frequently asked questions, so there's a lot going on. But lo and behold, right here, this is a Google Maps listing and that map pack I was talking about, or 3-pack. So this is where we have Google My Business profiles. Shortly after that, you have organic listings. Organic listings typically have 10 spots on the first page. So there's a lot going on in Google, but honestly, a lot of your conversions for businesses, both local, service industry, whatever it may be that your business does, you want to be in Google My Business because this stands out. This is where the conversions take place, where eyes are drawn to and where clicks happen. Especially based on different searches, you'll get different results. So DoorDash is one example that I use just to show you guys what Google My Business is and how it's displayed. But we'll get into some examples about local searches, reviews, and obviously the platform itself. So I'll take you through the back end of Google My Business as well. Before we move forward, are there any questions about the basics and fundamentals, where Google My Business exists or anything like that so far?
Yeah, I got a question.
Sure.
What is the geographic range when you do that? So it shows up on the map. Is it a set number of miles? 20 miles, 10 miles, 30 miles? How does it work?
Great question. So there's 2 sides to that, because in Google My Business, when you set up a profile, I'm actually going to dive in real quick so I can show you. In Google My Business, you have an option to put in an address, or if you don't actually physically have an address, but say you offer services where you travel to a client or you're an e-commerce website selling something, but you still want to capitalize on having the Google My Business profile, you can add what's called a service area. So service area, you can go as broad as saying North America or the whole world. You service international business. So in turn, you're going to show up in those locations. But typically, say you are like a lawyer in San Francisco, and you put in your address, the location's in San Francisco. Typically, you're going to show up for San Francisco and neighboring cities and counties to a certain extent. Google does not tell us what the actual range is. But that being said, there's ways around that. Say you're a lawyer in San Francisco, but you take on clients all over the United States. So you're interested in getting clients in New York City, for example, you can go ahead and put New York City specifically if that's a targeted location that you want to go after. The caveat to that, just put North America, because then you cover California to New York and everything in between.
Does that affect though how you're going to show up in searches? So for example, if somebody does a search for whatever, XYZ lawyer in, whatever, New Orleans, will listing the entire country mean you're going to show up there, or not really, because you don't have a physical address at that location?
Exactly. So the competition and the businesses in New Orleans, for example, those are gonna take precedence over your business because you're not physically located there. So there is a level of optimization that has to take place. And there's also SEO strategies that go into, all right, we're really prioritizing that. Do we look into getting a virtual office, a mailing address so that we could verify and prove we have a location in New Orleans? And then also your website is super reflective on how well you do in which locations. If your website does not mention New Orleans anywhere, chances are you might not even show up there, even if you have a service area specified as New Orleans. So it has a lot to do with content and your business. Google actually takes it a step further outside of your Google My Business profile and looks at your website as well.
Does it hurt you to have a physical address and then also add a wider service area?
It does not. It does not. Yeah, great question. Cool. So let's get into the next section, so as an example as well, here's an e-commerce business. I understand not everybody has an e-commerce website, meaning you physically sell a product, but here's an example of that service area location. So where we're going into, there's not a physical location or an address you could visit this business right here. They target, all of North America. So this is actually highlighted, but they capitalize on having an actual Google My Business for marketing purposes. You can go in and leave a review. If there's business hours associated with your website, a phone number, contact information, social media, you can actually list products, and we're going to get into all that specifically, but I want to show you an example of an actual address being omitted, and in lieu of that, having a service area location right here. So getting started is pretty easy. The website, you could just do a Google search, obviously, for Google My Business, but the quick link to get there is business.google.com. When you go to that, Google will prompt you to either sign in to a Google account that already manages locations, or you can go through and start the process of verifying an actual Google My Business. Chances are your website actually exists already if you own a business and you just haven't verified a Google My Business profile. And to some capacity, a directory on the internet actually has your website information. So Google will actually, when you're going through to set it up, it does a national search to find your website online. And it'll pre-fill a lot of information. What you'll want to do is verify all the information, make sure it's consistent and accurate to what's on your website. I can't stress that enough. One of the biggest things, at least from an SEO perspective, which is search engine optimization, making sure your website shows up, is what's called NAP. It's an acronym and it stands for name, address, phone number. So it's super important to not use acronyms for your business. If sometimes acronyms are used, go off of your actual brand name when using the Google My Business profile and listing your name. Your phone number needs to be consistent if there's a phone number on your website, and your address if you actually have a physical address. I mean, down to suite being spelled out and not abbreviated to STE needs to be exactly how it is on your website. So
Yeah, I
that's
think
super important as well.
to interject, like one of our clients, it's good to see like what's out there. One of our clients had a Google My Business account just for herself. Then she had a Google My Business account for the law firm she was with. Then her new law firm partner, she had an account with them. So she had 3 or 4 different accounts with stuff flying around. And then if someone sends you a contact off of it, is it going to the right one? So just surveying everything and making sure it's all connected and getting rid of duplicate ones is important, because sometimes you guys ever see stuff online and you're like, how did that get there? I didn't put it there. Like, so
Right.
that's one of the strategies we're doing right now to get it all organized.
Yep. So one of the big things when you're actually going through and verifying and creating your Google My Business for the first time, Google's a little bit outdated when it comes to verifying your listing. Sometimes you'll get lucky and you'll be able to verify your Google My Business profile with what's called alternative methods. What I mean by that is they either have identification that you exist there, they have enough proof in their database, and they're not going to share that database with you, but they have enough sufficient evidence to say, all right, we believe you're at this address, we verified it. If you fall into that lucky category, congratulations. But 9 times out of 10, you're going to fall into the bucket of having to verify your business address, even if you're omitting your address, which is crazy. You have to verify your address by mail and get a postcard in the mail. It takes typically 4 to 5 business days. You get this postcard in the mail with a PIN. And then once you enter that PIN into your Google My Business profile that's in draft, you're then going to actually be able to verify your Google My Business profile for that to go live. So if you fall into that category, like I said, even if you don't have a physical address, put your home address, nothing's going to be live until you verify your profile. And all you have to do is remove your address, put service areas, and you're covered. So there's never going to be an instance, say you run your business out of your house. A lot of businesses do, and you don't want your business address, which is also your home address, to be listed publicly. There is that option to omit that completely. So definitely. One of the big things that a lot of businesses, say you're already familiar with Google My Business. Now we're going to dive into the weeds and some specifics. Say you're in Google My Business, you're figuring out, all right, what can I do to take it to the next level? One of the biggest things I could suggest is entering a business category right here and get specific. It's not limited to just one. So like you can see here, the design boutique, graphic designer, marketing agency, website designer. There's all kinds of, there's literally hundreds of categories here. I believe the last number I saw was over 3,000. So chances are you'll be able to find more than one based on your business and what you do. So put as many as are applicable to your business here, because I'll get into an example here. Say I was to type in custom tailor near me. As you can see here, Google My Business profile shows up. As you can see here, custom tailor. Those are 2 different categories, but those are ones that actually show up as categories. And that's another way Google identifies, based off categories that are in Google My Business, which ones to actually display. Another thing you'll see that's super important are actual specific words that get bolded in reviews. Another thing you could do to take your Google My Business profile to the next level outside of just category specifications, enticing your current clients, past clients, and future clients to get reviews, but be as specific in the reviews as possible. And why that's important is this right here. I'm looking for a custom tailor near me. It goes based off your geographic GPS location, and it gives you local searches, but it actually prioritizes which ones have the best reviews, which ones have the most reviews, and which ones have reviews that actually mention things like customized alterations. And you'll see those are bolded. So if you tell clients to actually get specific, utilize certain keywords, you know, what were they happy with? Which service did they use, or which product did they buy from you? A lot of times those get prioritized based off of scraping of reviews, because everything comes back to search and user intent. Google's trying to give you, the user who's searching, the best possible result page tailored to you. So long are the days where you optimize to try to be, the best tailor shop. You can't optimize your website for that. Google actually looks at Google My Business to see what are the reviews looking like. Are they actually the best? What are people saying in the review section? And are you actually listed as a tailor, near the location? So super, super important. Getting reviews is one of the best things you could do. Oftentimes, I'm an SEO specialist. The number one thing my clients want to show up for is best, top, number one. And all right, Ralph, how do we show up for, best lawyer near me? Well, I can't optimize that for you because Google, if everybody could just type best, how does Google differentiate who's the best lawyer in a specific location? They're not going to be able to do that. What they do is look at your reviews. They look at, how well your actual presence is online, how long you've been established. And also a lot of things with Google My Business come back to, is it constantly being updated, utilized? Are you getting reviews consistently? So that's a big thing as well. But going back to the actual profile, another big thing you could do is your actual business description. Your business description exists right here in your profile. You want to list everything that you do about your business, as much information that you could put into this description without going overboard. You don't want to write an essay, but a quick few sentence blurbs and utilize keywords. So like you can see here, Design Boutique, we have SEO, branding, design studio, websites, copyright, photo shoots. So utilize, what it is you think people are typing in to find you, find your services, and include those kind of buzzwords or keywords into your business description. So that goes a long way when it comes time to, people finding your business profile and then seeing from the Design Boutique, what are they about? What are their reviews look like? So the Design Boutique does a great job with not only having amazing reviews and a well-optimized Google My Business profile, but it gives so much information to where if somebody was looking for a specific service, the best graphic designer in San Francisco, somebody can actually go through this profile, get as much information as they want, and then in turn, contact the Design Boutique. You have a website right here. So make sure in Google My Business, you list your website. Make sure if you actually have a physical address, your address is listed there because people can get directions to your business directly from Google My Business. Google try to make it as easy as possible within Google My Business to show a user your most important information at a glance without ever having to go into your website. So basically, this is where your website exists in search engine result pages. So it's super, super important. Phone call. And you could track all this as well, which is cool, which gets into another section of reporting. How well is my Google My Business profile actually performing for my business? When you're actually in the back end of your Google My Business profile, you have this dashboard right here and tons of stuff, reviews, calls, messages. But the biggest thing you can look at is insights. How are people finding you? They just recently launched, Google My Business recently launched insights into profile performance. So if you go into that, over time, historically, you can get data about interactions with your Google My Business profile. Who discovered you? How did they discover you? If you receive phone calls, direct messages, if you offer booking services, say you have a nail salon or a hair salon, people could book and make appointments through your Google My Business profile. If you're selling products, believe it or not, you can list products and directly sell from your Google My Business profile. So it'll track sales for you. It'll track people that got directions from your Google My Business profile. There's so much you could track. The coolest thing that I look at, and I will share with our clients, is specifically under this section right here, searches that triggered your business profile. How are people finding you? And over time, as you optimize your Google My Business profile, your website, say you invest in SEO, this is the biggest thing where you can identify, are people finding me based on my keywords? So like you can see here, designer, graphic design San Francisco, graphic design San Francisco, graphic design California. There's so many different ways people can find your business, and that's the goal. It's not just about being shown for your brand name, because Google's going to do that anyway. If you type in the Design Boutique, guess what? The Design Boutique's Google My Business profile is going to show up. If I type in DoorDash headquarters are going to show up as opposed to like Uber Eats headquarters, if that makes sense. So everything comes back to how well can I optimize my business profile in Google My Business, optimize my website to get the most bang for your buck in terms of these are some things that I could do for my business, whether you own the business, whether you're a partner in a business, and take your Google My Business profile to the next level.
Yeah, really quick here. One of the things that you're doing an awesome job, Ralph. I love this part. One of the things that I love about looking at the keywords is some of our clients, like one of our real estate clients, her keywords say winery and brewery. And so to see what I'm showing up for in that area means that I'm properly optimized with Google and that I'm in the right section, because if you aren't, then your competition isn't relevant. So if your competition says, if those keywords say brewery or winery or something else, that means that you're not optimized. And so it's important to check to see that. Paul put a question in the chat for you, Ralph. When you mention reviews, do they have to be Google reviews? My favorite thing that you say is Google loves Google, but yeah.
Yeah, believe it or not, just a couple years ago, Google was not a review platform in Google My Business. I'll actually find a link and can follow up with you if you're interested, but Google actually got in a legal battle with Yelp. In the past, Google would actually source reviews from platforms like Yelp, kind of similar to how Bing currently does it. Bing pulls in reviews from Facebook, for example. Bing does not have its own review platform, and Google used to be that same way. But then Google got in this fight with Yelp, where Yelp was basically telling Google, do not scrape our content, do not scrape our reviews and use it in your platform. So that was kind of a bad battle to choose, with Google being Google, because they're a monster in the search engine industry. I mean, the percentage of people that use Google is insane, and how many searches take place every day to every month. So when I mention reviews, yes, I highly encourage and recommend Google reviews, because like Lainey said, Google loves Google, and they're going to look at their own reviews. They no longer look at Yelp. They don't care about Facebook and social media profile reviews. They're going to pull everything from their Google My Business profile.
I think, yeah. And here's the other thing that since we have a lot of lawyers and a lot of investment advisors, a lot of times these clients or our clients hide behind compliance. We can't do that because of this. We're lawyers, we're not allowed to. And the research shows that the reviews, and correct me if I'm getting this wrong, Ralph, Google's reviews are third-party software. They're not related to your website. So as a lawyer, as a financial advisor, you can have reviews as long as you don't respond to the reviews. So that means you're not interacting with the reviews and you're not posting them. So when you Google investment advisors and attorneys, they all have reviews. As long as they don't reply, it's in compliance with all the financial stuff. So that was a really interesting win. And yeah, did I say that right, Ralph?
Yeah, absolutely. Here's another example that I wanted to show you guys, and a couple settings I want to run you through. So say you already have a Google My Business profile, or you're going to go through and create one for your business, or say you know somebody that's creating a brand new business. Hey, do you have a Google My Business profile set up? That's the best advice you can give to somebody that just creates a business, because it can make or break their business. I've seen it firsthand. Brand new businesses, what can I do? I don't have marketing dollars to spend just yet. We're just getting up on the ground running. Google My Business, it's free. Set it up, optimize it. Take some time to invest your time into completing the profile to its best ability. One of the things that happened in Google My Business, it's like a once in a while thing, but it can happen. I want to bring it to your attention for a very good reason, is questions and answers. One of the things that can happen, a user can ask a question. I'm using McDonald's because chances are, McDonald's Google My Business had some questions asked, and I was correct. So McDonald's in Denver, there's a lot of questions that get asked, but similar to how anybody can ask the question in your Google My Business profile, Just like on Amazon, anybody can answer it as well. Why I'm making this important is you want to beat anybody to the punch about answering these questions if somebody was to ask a question in your Google My Business profile. So how does that mean I have to check my Google My Business profile every single day? No. You can actually go through under settings and just enable alerts for everything. This doesn't mean Google's going to spam you. They're only going to send an email once something's relevant. Hey, your photo got X amount of views. Good job. And it also encourages you like, wow, I just uploaded this photo and I got 100 views. Let me upload another one. And you'll find yourself being more interactive, almost utilizing it like a social media platform that's actually for your business and will actually benefit you. But going back to the questions and answers, if you tick this and make sure it's enabled and save it, Google's going to alert you first. Hey, somebody asked a question. I want you guys to be cognizant of, if you receive a question, be the first one to answer it, because if somebody else answers it and it's not the way you like it, it's done. There's no way you could edit that response from that user. It's a user engagement, kind of like a forum, like on Reddit. So if you want to be the person that answers a question on your business, which I highly recommend, make sure you have that setting enabled. Just by default, enabling them all. They give you tons of great information. And again, they don't spam you. They just send you information on, suggestions. Here's insights. Here's some reports. Hey, somebody left a question. Hey, somebody left a review. So similar to you getting a review, you can actually do your due diligence of responding to reviews. And people like that psychologically because they see, all right, somebody left them a review. How do people make a business decision? They want to look at reviews. That's why Amazon's so successful, their review platform. Hey, I'm going to buy this product. Let's see what people are saying about it. Same deal in Google My Business. If somebody leaves a review, you can go through and actually respond to the review. Hey, thanks. It's a pleasure working with you. You've been great. Thanks for your review and your feedback. So that goes a long way because people see that you invest time to respond to your clients. You care about your clients. So something as little as that could be the deciding factor of somebody going with you as opposed to a competitor, because you're involved. You have great reviews. And whether you solicited those reviews and asked somebody to leave them or not, that's not known on your Google My Business profile, and it's perfectly acceptable. There's no penalties for asking friends, family, you yourself leaving your business a review. There's no penalties around that, and it can only help your business, is what I'm trying to say. So,
Does anybody have any questions? Oh. What over?
Cool. So there was one more thing with Google My Business. Well, a couple more things, but one more thing I want to stress, which is photos. By default, you want to actually upload images. So I had mentioned that briefly, but what you could do with images, there's 3 types of images in Google My Business that you could upload to your Google My Business account. So one being your logo, next one being a cover photo, and then there's just other images. So whether it's clients that you've worked with, pictures of the inside of your business, some wins, there's all kinds of images you could upload, products that you sell, any kind of updates. But what's good about actually uploading a logo and specifying both the logo and the cover photo, that's what gets displayed in Google My Business in your profile. So similar to, like I said, people could leave reviews, people could leave questions. People can also upload images to your Google My Business profile. And by default, if you do not have a logo or a cover photo specified by you, it'll take your most recent photo. So say it's somebody that just uploaded by mistake. They had, oh, oops, I uploaded an image to the Design Boutique and now you don't have a logo cover photo. Now you have this user submitted photo as your first image in Google My Business. So it's really simple. There's a whole section dedicated to photos. Under photos right here, you have logo, which is uploaded, and then a cover photo, which is specified as well. What's cool is under the photos, you also have specification into, how many views historically, how long ago was the image uploaded. And then you'll see if people had uploaded by customer, that means somebody else uploaded that image. So by owner, by customer, you can go as far as uploading images There's not a right or wrong images on how, or right or wrong answer to how many images you should have, but the more the better. And like I said, Google wants to see you're consistently updating your Google My Business profile. They're going to reward you. They don't tell us that, but I've seen it firsthand that your views are going to go up, your visibility, and the fact that you're keeping it updated and you're involved in your Google My Business profile, it's a good thing. Let's see, another underutilized feature that I haven't seen many people use is video. People are gravitating more towards wanting video content. Everything's video content. I mean, even this recording is being, future state being used as video content. We could share with prospects. We could throw it on our website. If for any reason you had to hop off, we could send it to you. Video content is so powerful, especially in marketing. So if you have video testimonials, videos about your business, you talking about who you are, what your business is about, you could certainly utilize that under video. So that's something you could do. There are requirements, but Google actually provides those to you. So say your video is too long or the file size is too large, resolution's not up to their standards, they're going to let you know. We're not going to get into those specifics, but if anybody's interested, I could certainly shoot that over. Let's see. So by default, your Google My Business profile is attached to you as the primary owner. Oops, I didn't want to do it. By the primary owner. If for, say you go in and hire a marketing agency, or, a family member is going to help you out, or a business partner wants to help you out, you don't have to share your email address or your Google account and credentials to who you want to access the Google My Business profile. You can actually invite users. So you can have as many users as you'd like by going to users and just adding somebody in there. You could specify different permissions, whether they're just a manager of your Google My Business profile. If they're an owner and you want to give them access to as much permissions as you have, you can specify them as an owner. But by default, if you created your Google My Business profile, you are the site owner. So I wanted to make note of that. Next thing we have that is really powerful and kind of new as well. Say you're creating a business, but you don't have a website yet, and you want to wait for some reason to get a Google My Business profile. I'm here to tell you that you don't necessarily have to. You don't have to wait until you have a website to actually have a Google My Business profile, because in lieu of that, Google actually created something called Websites by Google My Business. So say you hired a firm and they're giving you a time frame of, hey, we're going to get your website up in 4 months. If you have a brand name picked out, if you want to go through and create a Google My Business profile, you can, and you can actually create a temporary website that's automatically created by Google for your business based off the information that you put in Google My Business. So what I'd recommend, if you verify your Google My Business profile, go through, fill in all the information, meaning you have a phone number set up for your Google My, or for your business, and you put it in Google My Business. You know where your address is going to be. You're already starting to get reviews about your business, because it might not be a brand new business either. It could be a business that existed, you just never invested in a website, and maybe you don't want to, but Google will actually give you a free website. The only caveat to that is you're not able to pick your domain. So it's not a very user-friendly domain, but in lieu of that, you can actually have, custom themes. You could publish this website, and it pulls in all your data directly from Google My Business, your reviews, all your information. It's really, really cool. The only thing I'm going to say is if you already have a website, there's no need to create a duplicate site. You don't want to have 2 websites out there. This is only strictly if you don't have a website and you're waiting for a website that's currently being made, or say you don't want to invest in a website. I'm just going to go with a Google My Business profile and have Google My Business profile create the website. All the information gets posted here. Now you have a website that was just created in literally 2 seconds. I did not custom create this. It looks really clean. The maps here, directions, business hours. And like I said, this is powered by Google, comes directly from Google My Business profile, and you'll get a custom link like this, the designboutiqueinc.business.site, that people can actually reach a business that was just created for you free of charge from Google. Really, really cool stuff.
I don't know if it's a little weird. Yeah, it sounds. I'll shut up.
What was that?
I think my microphone's out or something. So
Oh, okay. No, no worries.
yeah, I think I just wanted, oh, there you go. You always talk about duplicate content and is
Right.
that one of the I think, I don't, does everybody here know about duplicate content and how that's kind of bad? Does anybody, you want
Think
to,
about school. You know, if you plagiarized a paper, your teacher wasn't good, or your teacher or professor is not going to be really happy with you, and you might fail that paper. Similar in Google and your business. So, yeah.
people, so if you have your website up here and then you have another website, Google's going to get mad at you because there's duplicate content. If it's the same content repeated, they penalize you for it. So we work with a lot of like lawyers and financial advisors, and they say, oh yeah, I work with this marketing company. They give me a blog every month to post. Well, that's great, but it really isn't, because 25,000 other advisors have the same blog posted on their website. So Google doesn't give you any unique points for it, for lack of a better term. And so unique content that's branded towards you, that talks about your values, not general stuff, if that makes sense. So
A quick question: if you're creating content for your own website, whether it's just an alert, if I'm as a lawyer about a case or a blog or something, is the idea just do it on your website and then it'll automatically be captured on Google My Business, or you need to create it both places, or what's the best practice?
Yeah, great question. So our process, specifically with our clients, say you publish a blog or you have an exciting update, what you could do is under Google Posts right here, actually promote a quick update about your business. One of the biggest thing was this COVID-19 update. How has your business adapted to COVID-19? Are you remote? Are you handling clients via Zoom? So adding a status here was a great option. But what you could do is also promote offers. Hey, for the month of September coming up, new businesses or new clients coming on get 10% off, or referrals. You know, if you refer somebody to our business, we're offering an incentive of X amount of dollars. And similar to blog posts too, and why this is important, you can actually put a little snippet of your blog post, promote new content or a new page, a new service that you're offering. What's new? So add an image that correlates to your blog post or what the update's about. I wouldn't suggest, say it's a blog post specifically, don't copy and paste the whole blog post in here. Just put an excerpt, get the title in there and that quick call to action, click in to read more. Are you interested in this blog post? Hey, we published this new content, click to read more. And then the most important thing that I suggest under a Google post when you're creating a post here is adding a button. So a button could go directly to your booking for an appointment, booking a service with you. If it's a product, it could be a link to order something online or on an external website. So you're partnering with a business and you want to promote their product. You could do that on your Google My Business profile for them as well. Paid promotions, whatever it may be. So buying a product, learning more, that's typically the button that I use, learn more. If it's something about a new page, a new product, a blog post that you're promoting, click learn more, and then actually link to that blog post. Why this is important and why I suggest adding a link, because by default, you don't have to publish a link. But I'm here to tell you, definitely utilize that link because you get a free backlink from Google. And it gets highlighted and promoted in your actual Google My Business profile as an update. So going back here, these are where they get published. So similar to the golden hour kind of networking, they archive all your updates in here. So you'll have that here and with a link and everything that you want. It's a really, really powerful tool, and it's actually part of my SEO strategy for clients. So content's a big thing. So to answer your question, kind of taking a long answer, making it short, I would recommend taking, the most important updates or, new blog posts and promoting it also in Google My Business, but it is a manual effort to go in and create those Google posts. Because the one thing that Google My Business does not do is pull information from your website. That's why it's a level of effort to create your Google My Business profile. put the consistent information that correlates from your website into the Google My Business profile. It's all manual. Once it's created, anything else that's on your website that you want to promote in Google My Business has to be done manually as well.
I think that's really useful.
Yeah, great question. There's honestly a lot of other features. I went over some of the biggest ones right now. But obviously, if you go through and kind of utilize some of the features, Google's always expanding on some of the features in Google My Business. So say we were actually doing this meeting a year ago, a lot of these features honestly didn't exist or they weren't as elaborate. One of the things that I went over in the beginning of this meeting was categories. Google now has well over 3,000 categories. So that's a big thing that they're always adding. So you want to be consistently kind of checking even, because Google is not going to alert you, hey, we have 100 more categories that's relevant to your business. As much as Google wants to help you and take your money, they're not getting paid from this. So they're going to more be up to date and inform users of Google Ads, but that's only because you're paying them. You're paying them a lot of money to show your business and you're paying to play. Whereas Google My Business is free, they're not going to tell you the updates of which features are new, which one can help take your business to the next level. So I always recommend, as you become familiar and you're consistently updating, you're touching base with your Google My Business profile, always kind of run through, all the features. Nobody actually told me recently that Insights updated and there's that new performance section of Google My Business. I had to actually click into there and I noticed their new report was there, but there was never an email from Google. Kind of similar to algorithms, and SEO is always changing. So Google My Business, kind of similar and related to SEO, is always changing as well.
That's their investment plan.
Exactly. Yeah. There was one other feature I wanted to show you guys. I'm not seeing it in this one, but let me see. There was a feature recently that kind of makes your business stand out. Attributes right here. So one of the biggest things, I'm actually going to enable this in real time for you, Lane, if you don't mind, because the Design Boutique is women-led. So that's a big thing right now. Say you're a veteran, you're a Black-owned business, you're a women-led business. Google loves to kind of, prioritize your business, have your business stand out, be unique. There's people out there that are actually searching primarily for, Black-owned businesses, veteran-led businesses, women-led businesses. So this cool thing, as far as an attribute, is somewhat new and definitely recommend utilizing that. So typically, when you go through and make a change, Google's going to actually review that change before they publish it live. A lot of times it's done within minutes. So if you sit there refreshing it or check back in an hour, your changes are going to be live. There's only certain instances like major changes. If you're changing your address, for example, that's one of the biggest changes you can make. You're relocating your businesses. So if you change your business, you don't want to necessarily change your address and have it approved right away. Or say it was a mistake. You gave the wrong person the address. Now they're trying to take down your business. They're changing your address, your phone number. Those changes typically take longer to take place. You might honestly even have to re-verify. So you move to a new address. It might not be uncommon for Google to say, all right, hey, we're sending out another postcard with a PIN. Once you get it, input that so we can verify your new address. They're not just going to let you. But things like business hours, especially over holidays, they're cognizant about holidays. So they're going to send you emails actually, and they're going to say, hey, Thanksgiving's coming up, for example. We're in November, Thanksgiving's coming up. Are you open? You can respond directly in your email and they're going to update it on your behalf because you're identified as an owner via your email address, and they make it super easy to update things like that. If you say no, they're going to identify that you're closed on Thanksgiving and it's going to reflect that on your business profile. Say you actually press yes, hey, I'm working on Thanksgiving. They're going to ask you and have you verify, is 9 to 5 still accurate? If not, do you have shortened hours? They want to get the most information about your business because I mean, I'm always going to go back to that saying Google loves Google. And people typically use Google on their smartphones, tablets, desktop computers to look up a business, information about a business. I do it personally. You know, what's the phone number to Xfinity or Comcast because my internet's down? You know, I don't have Xfinity or Comcast phone number saved in my phone. Maybe I should. I don't have them on speed dial. That's not a thing anymore. So I Google all that stuff. You know, if you need business information, you need something quick, Google it. And that's one of the biggest things you could do. And the biggest things that can help your business is Google My Business profile.
Right?
Yeah. Does anybody have any questions? Want to see any examples?
I know, Sean, my microphone's acting weird. Sean, I think you're on incognito mode, but did you have a specific question? I know that we exchanged a few emails around stuff. Did you have something specific you needed some help with?
Not really. I just wanted to see if I was invested as well as you are here, and if there was something new that I'm missing out on.
I think so. So this is maybe I have a question for you, Sean, for Ralph, but like Ralph, so like Sean's part of a network, Guaranteed Rate Affinity. He does mortgages.
Yeah.
So like if there's, let's just say there's, and I don't know if this is true, but just an example, there's 10 guys for Guaranteed Rate Affinity within, a radius. So Sean's having his own Google My Business as part of the bigger company, or like how does that work? Should that be optimized? Can you be a part of a larger company? Maybe some of that's relevant because I know a lot of us have a larger parent company, I guess, so.
Yeah, let me pull up an example real quick. One thing that comes to mind, here we go. I'm just gonna pull, literally this is random, but the biggest thing that comes to mind are realtors that fall under, say, RE/MAX.
Yeah.
So here's Terry Neighbor. She falls under RE/MAX Properties. She sets up a Google My Business profile and has it listed as RE/MAX Properties. So say you're, a financial advisor, you fall under Mass Mutual, for example. You can have your name in Mass Mutual if your name is the business under another entity and kind of set it up that way. But yeah, I mean, like I've said, there's never been an instance where I've come across a business that can't utilize Google My Business. I live in Colorado. One of the biggest things that dispensaries can use as far as marketing efforts, because they're not allowed to run paid advertisement on Google. There's still this big stigma and federally being illegal. Google will not run ads on CBD products. So one thing that they do and heavily invest in is Google My Business marketing. Those Google posts we talk about, and website and SEO are the biggest things certain industries have to use. Kind of similar to competitive industries. You create a website, but say there's, hundreds of other realtors like there are here in Colorado where I'm located. The one thing that you can do to stand out is create your own Google My Business profile.
Yeah, it's free.
Give your clients, you sold a house or you helped somebody buy a house.
Put it on there.
Hey, leave me a review if you're, excited with my services. I've seen firsthand realtors actually, have it on their business cards. Leave us a Google review. So that's a way you can stand out.
It's so powerful. I mean,
So powerful.
I would say like having a boring website, or like taking your resources and doing this is so much more like has an ROI on it, right? Like,
100%. Yeah.
That's interesting because there's so much you can do on this. And it's all built in. All the stuff's built in there. The reviews, the uploading blogs, the selling stuff. I mean.
Yeah, Google post right here.
It's so robust.
This realtor just updated her post 8 hours ago. So it's all timestamped too. You can see, how active are they? What are their latest reviews? Things get bolded. If there's certain buzzwords like great realtor, that can stand out for you and your business. If there's certain things that people are searching, I just search RE/MAX realtors, but there's certain things that Google identifies that a user or me specifically would want to see. So right here, even appointments, you want to make an appointment with Terry here. She's a realtor. She has an appointment link, a Calendly. So boom, you make it super easy. You don't have to even call her, just set up an appointment and you're guaranteed to speak to her or walk through a house. There's just so much you could do. And Paul, apologize for missing your question there. You were asking around linking your website. So right here under info, you have your website information right here alongside your other contact information, phone number. This right here is a unique identifier. I've never really seen a benefit to actually putting one in. The only thing that this helps is easily sharing your Google My Business profile. So what you could do is generate a link that takes you directly to Google My Business. Typically it changes here, but you can also share it via the profile short name. So if somebody was to type in @TheDesignBoutique Reviews, it takes them from Google right to your Google My Business profile, basically.
That's
But
great.
right here is where you can put your website if you do have one.
So Ralph,
Thank
a
you.
couple questions, Ralph.
Yes.
If I see where it says write a review, but how do you get a link for that and send it out to your customer via email saying, hey, can you write me a review? And it takes you to it.
That is, so you could share your Google My Business profile. So say I'm on the Design Boutiques. There's, let me see real quick. There is, on mobile, I know there's a share button, but let me see. There
Yeah.
might not actually be one on desktop, which is strange because I think they're kind of shifting away from it, but I'm going to drop a link right in chat. And this is kind of, and it's always better too, because yes, you can get a link directly to Google My Business, but if you want to make it easy for your customers to leave a review, there's this awesome free tool right here, Google Review Link Generator. I'm dropping into chat now, so if everybody wants to save it, it's from a tool called WhiteSpark. All you have to do is start typing in the name of your business. So the Design Boutique right here in California, that's the one we're looking for. It generates a review link. And what's cool about that is when you share that link to somebody, not only does it take them, oops, I didn't get the whole link. Not only does it take them right to your Google My Business profile, but I'm going to show you exactly what it does. You get that link and share it to with somebody. Boom, the review is actually going to pop up. So it's going to take them directly to leaving a review. They don't even have to try to find where to write a review, where to leave it. This pops up automatically. So this tool right here is what I would recommend. This is what we send to our clients as well. The share link to the Google My Business profile is great. But honestly, if you want to tell somebody to find it outside of leaving a review, hey, Google My Business name. So if you set up your Google My Business profile the right way, if you type in the Design Boutique, that shows up. And it will for your business as well, because Google will understand based on your input and all the information you put in that this is your business. Hey, we're going to show your business profile.
So if you have reviews on LinkedIn and you have reviews on Facebook business page about your business, you really can't copy and paste that over.
You can't. No, you can't.
Yeah. Okay.
You can ask your client, hey, we loved your review. Thanks for leaving it on LinkedIn. Say it happened recently. Within like even a year, I would go back. And if you're familiar with them, hey, thanks for leaving this review on LinkedIn. Do you mind leaving that same review? If it's a great written review on Google My Business, here's the link. Like all you have to do is copy, paste it, press 2 buttons. Or, hey, do you mind tweaking it? Can you mention more about the services? So everything we explained today in this meeting, you know, can you mention the fact that I helped you with this? Or what was your experience? Can you elaborate more? Because a lot of times people just want to leave a 5-star review. They don't really dive into the comment section. The review itself, they just leave the rating. So I would definitely encourage, you know, hey, thank you so much. Can you leave us a review? Here's the link. Make it as easy as possible. And then, yeah, there's no harm in asking somebody who left your review on another platform to go back and leave you that review on Google My Business as well. I'd actually encourage it. So the goal is to get as many as possible and as many 5 stars at that. So if somebody's not too happy with you and they want to leave you a 1 or 2 star, maybe go leave it on LinkedIn or Yelp, but not on Google. So.
Can the reviewers just use either post anonymously or post with their initials? So for example, you know, what I do, a lot of the clients I represent, the matters are fairly sensitive, and they wouldn't necessarily want their name associated with, reviewing like a white collar criminal defense lawyer. So they might want to just, what I've done when I solicited comments or reviews that I put on my website is I said, hey, I'll just use your initials and a sort of a generic description of what you do, like, RZ financial advisor or something like that.
Yeah, great question. So current state, there's yes and a no. There's two sides to that answer and how I'm going to answer this. What you could do is actually have the client create. So you're actually making them go through extra steps to leave it anonymously, but there's currently no way to leave an anonymous review. So it's currently tied into a Google account. So as you can see here, it's if I'm leaving a review for the Design Boutique, it pulls in my account because that's what I'm logged into. Say you were trying to leave this review. So I'm going to grab this link and go totally incognito. Let me see if this is going to work. It's going to, yeah. So say you're sending it to somebody that's not logged into a Google account. It's going to prompt them to sign in. So that's the one thing that I'm not too fond of with Google, because you're kind of requiring everybody to have a Google account in order to leave your review. So if somebody's adamant, like, I really want to leave you this review, like, you did a great job, I just want to leave it anonymously, the unfortunate answer is they would have to sign in to maybe a ghost Google account or something that doesn't necessarily have their name. So it's not the right answer, but they would have to jump through some hoops to basically leave you that review because they have to sign into a Google account, unfortunately.
And I guess you can't just link to reviews that are already posted on your website, right?
Yeah, what you could do, so with Google Posts, what you could do, this is what I would recommend, and there's no penalties for that. Screenshot the review. Screenshot the review and post it as a Google post. Hey, we got another great review, because people are going to still see that, right? They're going to see it on your Google My Business profile. We've received a review on Yelp. Here's the review. We loved working with this client. So if they do leave it somewhere else, that's what I would recommend.
A great idea.
Yeah, you got to get creative, but there's so many ways you can get creative with your business and Google My Business profile. I'm sure there's things I didn't even think of, but your question definitely prompted me to think of that solution. Previously, yeah, is there a way to transfer reviews over? Not necessarily, but hey, screenshot it, throw it in a Google post, and it exists there forever now.
If you had to pick, what would be the most highest ROI on a review platform, Facebook, LinkedIn, or Google My Business, where would you want us to place our efforts to get the reviews first? Does that make sense, the question I asked?
Yeah, Google My Business for sure.
More than Facebook, more than LinkedIn.
More than Facebook, more than LinkedIn. Searches happen for businesses specifically. Let me preface that. There's more searches for business on Google than any other platform. So nobody's really searching. I shouldn't say nobody, because there are rare exceptions. People search for a business on Facebook. They want to leave a review there and everything. But the most bang for your buck as far as investing in getting reviews in Google My Business and returning ROI, you're going to start showing up for, say you get hundreds of 5-star reviews. You have great review platform or a review profile. Google's going to understand, like, hey, this guy is the best at what he does. In his area, he has the most reviews, most 5 stars, most best things people are talking about in the comment section. So you're going to start showing up for keywords now, whereas, you're investing your time asking your clients to leave reviews on Facebook, LinkedIn. It's going to help you on those platforms. But as far as business driving efforts, Google's going to be the best thing you can have. People want to find you organically. Sometimes people don't know that your business exists. So it's not a branded search. They're finding you through keywords, financial advisor near me as an example. So they're trying to find a financial advisor. They don't know who to go with. They might start interviewing people, but chances are they're going to start from the top and work their way down. So you want to be at the top of Google, top as far as reviews, and having that robust profile is really going to help you as far as lead acquisition and client gain.
Awesome. Well, it's 5 after 5 here. This is like an amazing topic, right? I mean, it's
For sure.
there's so much to do. You're like totally breaking, I mean, you're only breaking down like 20%, maybe 30, 50%, right? So.
There's so much. And if
stuff.
any other questions come to mind, please feel free to reach out to Lainey and I. We're certainly a resource for everyone. We really appreciate you guys hopping on this meeting today. And yeah, it does not end here. So feel free
Yeah.
to send us any questions you have. Say you set up a Google My Business profile, you just need us to kind of audit or run through it, let us know. We'll take a look, give you guys suggestions. We're here to help you guys.
What we offer our clients, just so you know, is that anybody that's interested in SEO, this is part of our plan. And what we do is a no cost audit where we'll go over your website, we'll see what's working, not working, and we'll make suggestions based on what plan would be great for you. And we've got different levels of engagement. So if you know of anybody that's interested in this and they're kind of scared, we'll do a no cost audit and go over the plan with them so they can see what's applicable. So that's how we roll. So, okay, well, I know we can keep talking about this forever. Thanks, Don, Paul, Sean, Joanne for showing up, and we look forward to seeing you around soon. Great job, Ralph.
Thanks,
Thank
Ralph,
you,
for the
everyone.
time. and
you.
thanks
Thank
for
you.
the
Thank you.
insights.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thanks very much for your time.
All right.
Okay,
Talk
guys.
to you guys soon.
Take care. Thanks, Lainey.
Ciao.
Bye, guys.
Bye.